Hey everyone, I'm Lauren McMillan, and today's yoga session is yoga for runners. Now, whether you're a beginner runner or you've been running for years, yoga is an excellent complement to your running training. And this is a sequence that you can do at any time during your week, at it before a run, after. This sequence will help you loosen the muscles, keep up your range of motion and your mobility, help you work on balance, a little bit of strengthening for some of the muscles you use while running, and it'll also help prevent injury. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So let's begin in a seated position. If it's comfortable, you can sit cross-legged. If your hips are really tight, maybe you want to sit on a blanket or a cushion to help elevate the hips over the knees. You could also do this with the legs straight out front, and you can even do some of these movements from a chair. But no matter where you're sitting, sit up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back a couple times. Think of lengthening your spine from the base of the tailbone all the way up through the crown of the head. And let's open up the neck here. So as you tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, think about breathing into the left side of the neck. Gently lift your head up to center and then take left ear to left shoulder. Now sometimes when we run, even though we think we're using mostly our legs, sometimes our shoulders and our necks get tight as well. And then lift your head up to center, take your gaze to the right. Come back to center and then take it to the left. And then back to center. Deep inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, take right hand to the floor, left arm reaches. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, go to the left. Inhale up to center. Let's do that again. Take the right hand down, left arm reaches. Inhale to center, and then exhale to the left. Inhale, come up to center. Now go into a twist, taking your left hand to your right knee. Right hand is behind you like a kickstand. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, gently twist, maybe taking your gaze over your right shoulder. And then unwind, sweep the arms up. Go the other way, taking right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale to sit tall. Exhale to twist. Unwind, take the arms up, and then bring your hands down to your knees. From here, start to circle your torso, trying to keep your hip bones down on the floor or on the chair. Reaching the heart forward as you come to the front, and then scooping the belly as you go to the back, and then take that the other way. So we're just loosening up the torso, loosening up the spine. And at some points during this movement, you may feel the lower back or the hips talking to you. When you've gone both ways, come back to center, and let's make our way to our hands and knees. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees. We'll move through a few rounds of cat-cow. As you keep the elbows soft, inhale, drop the spine to the floor, lift your heart, lift your hips. And then exhale, round the spine, spread the shoulder blades apart. Again, inhale to lift for cow pose. Exhale, round it into cat. Do that one more time. Inhale into cow. Exhale to cat. And then come back to center. Step your right foot forward between your hands and then lift your torso, stacking your knee directly over the front ankle. Bring your hands to your hips. As you keep the right heel down, press the hips forward, getting a stretch along the front hip, and then back. And do that again. You can keep your hands on your hips or at a side reach. So press your hips forward, take the left arm out, and then reach up and lean to the right. Release, come back to center. Do that 2 more times. Press forward, reach, release, and up. And then 1 more time. Come on down, take your left hand to the floor. You can place your right hand on the thigh and use the hand as sort of a lever to press yourself into a twist. If it feels okay on the arm and the shoulder, take the right arm up. And then release, framing the foot with the hands. Start to shift your hips back into a half split, straightening out through the right leg, drawing the right toes back. Try to keep your spine long, heart is reaching forward. And then take your left fingertips down to the floor, open the right arm, twist. Right toes continue to draw back toward the shin. And then release. Walk yourself forward into a lunge. From here, take your right hand to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe your foot to the outer edge of your mat and then turn the toes out at about 45 degrees for lizard pose. Now, if you're feeling a good stretch right here in the groin, inner thigh, hips, this is where you're going to stay. If there's more for you, come down to the forearms. You can even place a block or a cushion underneath the forearms to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And if you want more still, you can tuck the left toes under and then lift the knee to get a little bit more into the hip flexor. Wherever you are, try to keep your neck and your head in line with your spine. Often we want to just drop the head down here, but try to keep it engaged. If the knee is lifted, lower it down, come back up to the hands, and then start to bend the left leg, coming into a quad stretch. You can reach back with the right hand, reaching for the toes, or if it's more available, take the left hand and reach back. And if you can't quite reach the foot, you can always take a belt or a strap and wrap it around to draw it a little bit closer to you. If you do have the foot, roll the shoulder back, open your chest to the ceiling. And then gently release. Heel toe the right foot between the hands, and then tuck the back toes, lift the knee, step back to downward facing dog. Remember that if your hamstrings are tight, to keep a soft bend in the knees. You can pedal out one foot and then the other, getting into the calves a little bit. And we'll take all of that to the other side. So this time you're going to bring your left foot forward between the hands, drop the right knee down, and then lift your torso so that you can align your front knee over the ankle. Starting with the hands on the hips, keep the left heel down as you press the hips forward, and then push into the floor to come back up. And do that again. Press forward and up. Let's do one more like this, and then you have the option to add a side reach. So as you press the hips forward, take the right arm, reach up and lean to the left. Release, press up. Two more here. And last one. Now go ahead and take your right hand to the floor. Start by placing your left hand on the thigh, and you can press into the leg as you look over the shoulder. Option to extend the left arm up. Release. From here, start to shift the hips back into a half split, straightening out through the left leg as much as you're able, drawing the toes back while reaching the heart forward. Notice if you're holding your breath here. Keeping the right fingertips to the floor, open the left arm, twist. And then release, walk forward into a lunge, this time taking the left hand to the inside of the left foot, heel toe the foot out wide, and then turn the toes out at about 45 degrees. So again, you're welcome to stay here on the hands. If you want more, drop down to the forearms. And to go further still, tuck the right toes under and lift the right knee. If the knee is lifted, drop it down. If you're on your forearms, come up to the hands and then start to bend into the right leg. Remember that you can reach back with either arm aiming for the toes, or maybe you're using a strap to make your arm a little bit longer, whatever works. And then if you do have the foot in any capacity, roll the shoulder back. Gently release. Heel toe the left foot back between the hands. Tuck the toes, lift the knee, come back to downward dog, pushing all 10 knuckles into the floor, almost like you're pushing the floor away from you. On an inhale, pick the right leg up. You're going to bring your right foot up between the hands, setting up for pigeon. So bring your right knee toward your right wrist. You're going to lower down to the outside of the right shin and then start to scoot your left leg back. Your right foot is going over to the left edge of the mat. The more parallel your shin is to the short edge of your mat, the deeper this stretch is going to be, but it also is going to put more torque on the front knee. So I would recommend not going to that perfect 90-degree angle. Bring it back just a little bit. Before we sink down into the stretch, tuck the back toes under and then start to scissor the inner thighs together and then try to lift yourself up so you're squeezing the muscles of the lower body, strengthening here. Core is engaged. Maybe the arms and the hands are off the ground. And then after working the lower body a little bit, we can relax into it. So you can keep the back toes tucked or release them. Maybe stay on your hands if this is enough for you, or you can come down to the forearms. Pigeon is a pose where a lot of people find resistance. We have a lot of tightness in the hips, especially as runners. So see if you can direct your breathing into the right hip, encouraging it to soften, encouraging it to release. If you're on your forearms, press back up to the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then push the floor away as you sweep the right leg back and up, and shake the leg out, and then lower it down beside the left. Other side, inhale to pick the left leg up. As you exhale, bring it forward, taking left knee toward the left wrist. This time you're coming to the outside of the left shin. Left foot goes across the mat to the right, and then start to walk your right foot and your right leg back. Before you settle down into this stretch, hug the inner thighs together, lift yourself up, find some buoyancy here. Breathe. And then gently release, taking your hands down. You can untuck the back toes. If you want to go further, come down to the forearms. Notice if you're trying to shift your weight all the way over into the left hip. See if instead you can square the hip so that your weight is more evenly distributed. Now if you're on your forearms, press up to the hands, tuck the back toes under, lift the knee, and then send the left leg back, shake it out, and lower the left foot down beside the right. From here, walk yourself to the middle of your mat, however you want to get there, finding a forward fold. Keep your knees a little bit soft here so that you're not pulling in the lower back. And then also bend your knees enough so that your fingertips can come down to the mat. Bend deeply into the right knee. Keep the right hand kind of directly below the face, and then open the left arm. Twist. Maybe feeling this all along the outside of the left leg, getting into the hip and the IT band. Release, switch sides. So bend deeply into the left knee. Left hand is down, right arm opens. Lower the right hand down, bend into both knees, lift up halfway with a long spine, catch the hips with the hands, and then come all the way up to stand and turn and face the long edge of your mat. Stepping the feet out wide, think about having the length of one of your legs between your feet. That'll give you a good marker of how wide to make your wide-legged stance. And then feet are either parallel or a little bit pigeon-toed, whichever feels better. Take your hands to your hips, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, keep the knees a little bit soft here, and then start to hinge forward, gradually coming all the way down into a wide forward fold. Again, bend the knees as much as you need to in order to bring your hands to the floor. You can also play with your arm position here, maybe holding on to the ankles. You can reach through the legs. On your next inhale, lift up about halfway. Again, trying to bring the fingertips down. From here, turn the toes out at about 45 degrees. Start to walk your hands over into the right leg, bend into the knee, pick up the left toes, and then walk yourself over to the other side. Let's do that one more time on each side. Coming up to center, take it to the right, and then back to center and over to the left. Come back to center. Heel to the feet a little bit closer together so they're a bit wider than the shoulders. Toes are out, heels are in. Start to drop the hips down, coming down into a squat. Now, if your heels are up, that is fine. Bring your hands together in front of your heart if you can, and then think of pressing your elbows into your knees, knees into elbows. Heart is lifting toward your thumbs to lengthen the spine. From here, gently release, bringing your hands to the floor. You can straighten the legs, rotate the feet, and then come down to your knees, finding a kneeling position. If it's comfortable for you to sit on the knees like this, do so. I'm going to show you a calf stretch, or rather a calf massage that I learned, and it's honestly one of my favorite little tricks to do. So if you have a blanket or a towel nearby, roll it up into a nice little roll. From a kneeling position, you're going to take the blanket, in this case, and put it right behind the knees in that crease of the legs. And then keeping it there, start to sit back. So you'll see this is kind of sandwiched between the back of the legs and the calf muscles. Once you're there, start to shift your weight from side to side. And pretty immediately, especially if your calves are tight, which I know runners often face that, you will feel a very nice deep massage. And then of course, as you progress with this, you can start to shift it down a little bit, getting more into the Achilles, down toward the heels, and just breathe through it. This is also a nice alternative if it is uncomfortable for you to sit in a kneeling position with the legs stacked over each other. If you put a little bit of space, that kind of alleviates some of the pressure that you might feel from that deep bend in the knee. So after a few minutes of this, release, just place it off to the side, and then come to a seat with the legs out in front. Hug your left knee in, and then turn the knee out so that your left foot is against the right inner thigh. Draw the right toes back to keep this leg active. On an inhale, reach up tall. Turn your torso a little bit so you're more directly over the leg, and then reach forward, folding over it. If your hands don't reach your foot, just let them land wherever they land. Maybe keep a bend in this right knee. And then walk yourself back up. Pick the left knee up, straighten it out, pull the right knee in. We'll repeat this on the other side. So place your right foot against your inner thigh, left toes draw back. Inhale to sit up tall. Exhale, fold over the left leg. Start to come back up. Draw the left foot in, bringing the soles of the feet together for a butterfly position. So with your legs, you can have them as close to your body as you'd like. You can bring them more away from you, which is what I prefer. It just gives a little more room for the hips. Now, as runners, we need to take care of our feet. So take this moment to open the soles of the feet with your thumbs, and then just give the soles of the feet a little bit of massage, showing them some love. After a few moments of that, continue to hold on to the feet, or you can hold on to your ankles. Roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, and then start to hinge forward, trying to keep your spine long. And then when you can't go any further, just let the spine round and your head drop, folding over the legs. Carefully come back up to a seated position. And then take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have a great day and a great run. Namaste.